Welcome. I would like to welcome you to episode 440 of the Unpopular Podcast. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Jalen Hunter. Here at the Unpopular Podcast, normally ask you to agree with me and ask you to hear me out. First and foremost, it feels good to be back. I appreciate everyone that wished me birthday wishes. I appreciate everyone that checked up. I guess they may not have saw the end of last episode when I said that I would be gone for a week because of my birthday. I apologize that there wasn't an episode on Wednesday. I was knee deep in the whole airline catastrophe. I had to stay almost 3 days actually, almost 3 days straight in an airport. So I just wanted to get home. I got home hella late, especially later than what I expected. So yeah, I wasn't able to record for Wednesday's episode, but I was able to get home. All in all, my birthday was a success. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I appreciate, again, everyone that sent me birthday wishes. And we're back. And it's good to be back. It feels good to be back. It feels good to be planted somewhere. You know what I mean? Having to deal with that airplane stuff is crazy. And for people that's still dealing with it, I hope that you get home, man. I don't know how something like that could happen, but hey, we're here. So, but let's get started. Now I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know the origins of the Olympics. I don't know when it started. I don't know exactly why it started. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know the origin of the Olympics. But what I will talk about is what the Olympics represent now and why the Olympics is so important now. Now, in the grand scheme of things, the Olympics is a way to show dominance for whatever sport that your country is good at. If you need to question why or if sports is so big and so popular, the Olympics is a clear-cut example as to why people are so addicted, people are so hooked to sports. The Olympics in a smaller scale is literally countries going against each other in different sports. That's essentially what the Olympics is. Countries going against each other in different sports to exude dominance and to exude and show the world that may not be able to get a glimpse of whatever that country has to offer in sports. It allows them to get a glimpse of the fact of we're here, we are better or as good as X country or Y country. You can probably harken back to the Greece, the what's the jump called? The gladiator days. Like the Olympics is literally to show that I am here. And I'm excited, man. The Olympics isn't just for sports. Obviously, I know this. You're showcasing the best of the best in your country. There's people like myself. Let me just speak on myself. I don't know anything about Cameroon. I don't watch anything about Cameroon. I don't know much about South Sudan. I don't know much about Zimbabwe. I don't know much about a lot of these countries. So a lot of the times for myself, because I'm only speaking for myself, the most I get to see, to experience these countries, especially as someone that doesn't travel as much as other people would travel, the Olympics is a way for me to experience the culture that is that certain team, like Brazil. Especially when we talk about, the World Cup and the Euros and the Olympics. As a person that's never been to Brazil, I probably will go one day. But as someone that's never been to Brazil, seeing Brazil in these games allows me to at least get a certain feel of their culture. That's another important important factor that the Olympics brings to the table. It allows people that aren't able to travel as much to at least get a piece, to at least get a glimpse of places that they'll never experience in a lot of cases. And I'm excited for the Olympics. See, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't watch, gymnastics year round. I don't watch swimming year round. I don't watch a lot of the sports, track and field year round. But the Olympics is one of my favorite times in sports because it allows me to be a fan of things that I don't regularly fan over. Like I get to watch Sydney McLaughlin. I get to watch Simone Biles. I get to watch Katie Ledecky, who's from Maryland, by the way. I get to watch, some of these, Simone Biles. I get to watch some of these people. Sha'Carri Richardson. It is exciting for me, and I think for a lot of people that don't get to watch, or don't watch these sports on a regular basis, or some of these sports that aren't even televised on a regular basis. It's exciting to see. And obviously, I'm always rooting for the United States, because that's most of the time only the people I know. Like, obviously, there are some countries and some people that, like Jamaican in track, they dominate. I mean, it just is what it is. But I do hope that Sydney, who did break a world record, and I think it was hurdles, as well as Sha'Carri Richardson. I hope they're great. We know that, I think ESPN just came out with a top 100 list, and someone that graced the list was Simone Biles. And for someone as small as her, yet as dominant, we're able to see her dominance on a different scale in the Olympics. And I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what gymnastics do. I'm excited to see what swimming. Katie, I didn't realize, because I think Katie Ledecky was on that list too. I didn't realize how dominant Katie Ledecky was. Now, the most dominant Olympian and the person that came number one on that ESPN list was Michael Phelps. So the fact that I think Michael Phelps has the most gold medals or most medals in Olympic history by like a long margin, but Katie Ledecky is probably one of the most decorated women athletes as far as water that we've ever seen. So, man, I'm excited. I am excited for the Olympics. I'm excited to get a taste, to get a entree of sports that I don't usually get to see. And that's even for the Winter Olympics as well, or for the Summer Olympics as well. I'm excited for just it allows me to see things that I usually don't see. Again, the last time I watched a swimming meet was the Olympics last time, so I'm excited. But obviously, for people that know me, for people that listen to the podcast, first and foremost, thank you. But for people that know me, for people that know where my alliance is, for people that know just at the core what I love, they know that I am going to be paying an uber amount of attention to Team USA basketball, both men's and women's. Now, when I was gone on break, I was not able to talk about a lot of the Team USA exhibitions. They went up against Canada. But I did talk about the Canada game, I think. They went up against Australia. They went up against Serbia and South Sudan, I believe, and Germany. And the question that I've gotten, because again, I was away on break, the question that I got a lot was, what is my outlook? What is my take on what Team USA has shown in the exhibitions? And am I ready to take back my take that I don't think the world has necessarily caught up to the United States? I feel like I have to continue to emphasize this and to clarify this, because every single episode, every single week leading up to the Olympics, I have somebody coming to me talking about, how do I say the world hasn't caught up? And you know, I'm also the person that says probably the best player in the world, or the best few players in the world, are not of United States origin. And I will clear it up again by saying this. Do I think that the world has gotten closer to the United States as in terms of basketball? Of course. Again, when you look at, I think the best player in the world is probably Nikola Jokic, who plays for Serbia. I think Giannis is up there. He plays for Greece. We see the freak of nature that is Victor Wembanyama. He plays for France. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the runner-up for MVP. He plays for Canada. In fact, when you look at Team Canada, they have a plethora of NBA players, whether that's Jamal Murray, who was an NBA champion, whether that's Lou Dort, whether that's Dylan Brooks. I'm not saying that United States is light years ahead of the world. I do think that the world as a whole has closed the gap. But where I've always sat, and where my thinking is if we put our best players from the United States, all of them on a team, which is kind of what we're seeing. Now, there are some players, obviously, that you can argue should be on, should be off Team USA, which I have also argued. If you put our best, let's say 12 players, going against the world's best 12 players, I necessarily don't think that would be close. Because think about it. Giannis, Luka, Nikola Jokic, Victor Wembanyama, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's 5. Now we're starting to talk about players that, don't get me wrong, are still good in their own right, but I wouldn't necessarily put them above a lot of American players. Like you might do Rudy Gobert, you might go Jamal Murray, you might go Patty Mills. Like, there is obviously a good team that can be made, but when you compare the best of the United States to the best of the world, I don't think that it's necessarily close. Now, I've also said I do think that when you go up against our B team and our C team, which used to be light years better than the rest, if you put that world A team against our B team and C team, we getting smoked. And when I mean I mean the United States. We're getting smoked. But if you put our A team, which is what we're seeing, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, I think that there is not a team that is close. Now, let's advance this conversation for a second. Jay, I know you saw the exhibitions. Yes. I know, Jay, I know you saw, these are questions that have come to me. I know you saw that they only beat South Sudan by 1 point. I know you saw they were in a dogfight with Germany. I know you saw they were in a dogfight until the end with Canada. Yes, I saw all of it. I know you saw that they probably should have lost to Australia until I saw them. Team USA did not look good in the exhibitions. Outside of the Serbia one, where they beat Serbia by like 40 points, they did not look good in the exhibitions. That I will agree with you with. And one thing that you see, I think it's in life as well. One thing that you see in life is when things don't go the way that you think they're supposed to go, if things don't look the way that they're supposed to look, there has to be a reason. There has to be blame pointed somewhere. And a lot of the blame was pointed to Steve Kerr. A lot of the blame was pointed to, obviously, like I said, people thinking the world has caught up with the United States. The United States isn't that good. I will say this. You can tell early what Coach Kerr was going to use these exhibitions for. He wasn't using these exhibitions to show the world that the United States is a dominant force in basketball. He wasn't using these exhibitions to show the world that, in fact, we have the best players. Again, whether you talk about LeBron, Steph, KD, who didn't play in any exhibition, by the way, Anthony Edwards. We're showing you guys, the exhibitions weren't to show the world that, hey, this is who we have. Look at this. No. I understand completely why or how he was using the exhibitions. He was using them to prep for the real games, which is technically what you're supposed to do. Mind you, a lot of these players, this is the first time that they're playing with each other. Like, I don't know I think Anthony Davis did play with Steph Curry and FIBA, but this is the first time they're playing on the Olympics. This is the first time Anthony Edwards is playing alongside LeBron James, playing alongside Steph Curry. So this isn't like a video game, which we will talk about a little bit later. But this isn't like a video game. You need time to gel. You need time as a player to gel with players that you're going to be playing with. Again, a lot of these players have never played with each other. And this is the first instance that they're getting to see what your tendencies are, what you like, what you don't like, how you like the ball, where your spots are. That's things that usually take all of training camp for a team. But with Team USA, they have, 2-3 weeks, including these exhibitions. So I understand that he was, in one hand, he was using the exhibitions to allow his players to understand their tendencies, and that's what the players were doing, which is why you saw a bunch of turnovers, because you're still trying to figure each other out. I also understand in a certain case that Steve Kerr was using this for coaching and as a coaching aspect as well, meaning he was trying to figure out which lineups, because that's why you kept seeing the starting lineup change. I think the starting lineup changed every single exhibition. That's why you saw platoon subs, meaning 5 in, 5 out, 5 in, 5 out. That's not going to work in real time, which is why you saw a lot of the close games. You see players getting out of the rhythm. You see players that probably shouldn't be playing as many minutes as they're playing. You see players that probably shouldn't be on the floor with each other. Not saying that they're bad, but some players thrive on the floor more than others. So I understand completely how he was being used. Now, or let me say this. I understand completely how Steve Kerr and Team USA used the exhibition. And in that case, I understand that we didn't see the best version of Team USA. I understand that we didn't see the best versions of these teams that we're going to, or this team that we're going to see, because essentially they don't even know the best version or the best version, the best lineup of these teams. And that is exactly what is going to be used, or that's exactly what they use the exhibitions for. So I do understand, and I do agree with people that Team USA, there were issues that obviously could be glaring red flags come the Olympics if those issues continue, if Steve Kerr continues to do the platoon subs, if he continues to tamper with the starting lineups, that is going to be an issue. Now, I don't foresee that happening because I don't know anyone that thinks that platoon subs outside of 2K works. But I will say this. I do not have after what I saw in the exhibitions, after what I saw, the group that Team USA is in, which is a tough group. I think you have Serbia, you have South Sudan. They're in a tough group. I have the utmost confidence that Team USA is going to come back with gold. Even after everything we saw at the exhibition. I just feel, I think I talked about this in the episode before I left. There is still, it's always interesting and it's always fun to watch. When you get a lot of great people together, when you get a lot of great people in a group, greatness is, I'm not taking away from anyone's greatness, and no one's greatness is getting taken away from. But when you're in a group of great people, there's always going to be one or two people that just shows themselves to be above the rest. There's not a player, actually, you could argue maybe one or two, but we can agree that 95% to 98% of Team USA is great. We can agree that, let's say, 90% of Team USA has stars to superstars. But and it kind of lends credence to what I'm saying. Even with a group of greats, Steph, KD, Anthony Edwards, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo, Joel Embiid. You have MVPs on that list. You have finals MVPs on this list. You have multiple final winners or multiple NBA champions. There's no question who the head honcho is on this team, and that obviously is LeBron James, which is also incredible, seeing as though LeBron James is about to be, 41, 40? The fact that a person this age has been playing as long as he has is still the head honcho in a group full of greats shows you everything you need to know about how the world views LeBron James, how the NBA views LeBron James, how Team USA views LeBron James. Because a lot of those games, especially South Sudan, especially Germany, they were looking for guidance. A team with Steph, a team with Anthony Edwards, a team with Jason Tatum, they were looking for guidance at the end of games. These are superstars. They are looking for guidance, and the one saving grace, just give it to Bron. In fact, a lot of them said that at the end of the games. It was like, how did you squeak out this win? Well, we had LeBron James, and they didn't. Bruh, when you get a group of great people, that doesn't take away from anyone's greatness. But when you get a group of great people together, there's always going to be one or two that just is better than the rest. So, and it kind of lends credence to my argument that I have between stars and superstars. This right there, Team USA, is exactly what you're seeing it. While yes, Steph is a superstar, I think. Anthony Edwards is on. KD is a superstar. Let's just do the definition. KD is a superstar. Joel Embiid is a superstar. But I just think that even in that, there's still a pecking order. Yo, LeBron James is still LeBron James, and we're going to respect him as such. And you see the players that – there's been 3 players that I think has been on every single starting lineup even in the exhibition, and that's Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Joel Embiid. Like, and I think KD would be on that list too, but obviously he was injured. So again, there's Tyrese Halliburton, who doesn't really get that much minutes. I guess Drew Holiday, Bam Adebayo, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker. This team, I think, is going to win gold. I'm not going to say easily, but they're going to win gold. And I'd be shocked if they don't. But I do want to talk about something else before I kind of go over to the women's side. We just talked about the exhibitions, and there were a lot of factors that tied into the exhibitions being as tight, being as close as they were. There's a lot of factors that lended itself to Team USA not looking the best, not looking their greatest. One of those factors I think a lot of people talked about, but I think it was kind of odd to talk about it, and that was Joel Embiid. And what I mean by it was a little odd to talk about is there was only maybe one game out of the, I think, 5 exhibitions that Joel Embiid looked good. Only one. Mind you, Joel Embiid is a former MVP in the NBA. He's widely considered one of, if not the best centers in the league. He's one of the greatest offensive centers we've ever seen. Joel Embiid, in all accounts, is as good as advertised. But with Joel Embiid's play, it should show you a lot of things about Joel Embiid. It should show you a lot of things about the Olympics. The Olympics is looked at differently, especially when we talk about officiating, when we talk about rules. The Olympics is looked at much differently than the NBA. I think the NBA is more of a star-driven league in a sense of they're always going to cater to the stars. The NBA understands that their bread and butter comes from the stars. Their bread and butter, no matter how much you love the Lakers, no matter how much you love your home team, your favorite team, your love is always going to be stronger. Or fans' love is always going to be stronger for the players, which is why you see their name on the back of the jerseys, which is why they don't have helmets so you can see their face clearly. The Olympics don't care nothing about that. What they care about is the country. They say, yo, we want the fairs. Now, obviously, sometimes refs are off, but they care most about let's put the best product for the country. So all that foul baiting isn't going to work in the Olympics. And we saw that not work in the exhibitions. All that complaining to the refs, it's not going to work. It barely works in the NBA. It's not going to work now. And in all accounts, Joel Embiid has been more times than not an issue for Team USA. Whether we talk about some of his defensive rotations, whether we talk about some of his fouls. I mean, he fouled out, or damn near fouled out, most of these games. Let's not get it twisted. LeBron James is the most important player on Team USA. Their success is solely geared on the success that LeBron James brings them. Not saying solely. Let me back up. Any given game, a player can play well. We saw that in the exhibitions. Steph Curry, I think, had like a 24-point game. Anthony Edwards has been going crazy. And I'm excited to see how they look with a full roster, i.e. when Kevin Durant comes back. But like we said, when you get a group of greats together, there's always going to be one or two that rise to the top. That one or two is LeBron James. while LeBron James is probably the most important player, not too far behind him is Joel Embiid. I'm not saying best. I'm saying most important. When you look at the Olympics and you look at what the Olympics emphasizes, the NBA emphasizes a great guard play. Some of the best players in the NBA, I'm not gonna say the world, in the NBA are guards. Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, Damian Lillard. The emphasis of guards and the emphasis on putting the ball on the ground and being a great ball handler, Jaylen Brown, that is the emphasis in the NBA. When you look at the Olympics, the emphasis on the Olympics is bigs. You see the physical play that they allow. You see some of the rules that they allow for bigs, as far as if the ball's on the rim, you can slap it off. Like, there are different rules, and a lot of the rules cater to bigs. And on top of that, if you look at the road that Team USA is going to have to go through, as far as the bigs, you have Victor Wembanyama, you have Rudy Gobert, you have Nikola Jokic, you have Jock Landale, who doesn't seem like a big name, but people don't understand, bro. The Olympics is different. People look at the Olympics. This is their big. Other countries care about the Olympics much more in a lot of instances in the United States. Like, there are countries that. There's a reason why Patty Mills is probably one of the greatest Olympic basketball players we've ever seen. There's a reason why that there is a running joke, and because it is a joke, but there's a running thing going on that's saying Patty Mills is like Jordan in the Olympics. Patty Mills is one of the greatest Olympic basketball players we've ever seen, because the Olympics mean much more to Australia than it does to the United States. Now, I'm not saying that we don't take it seriously, but I'm just saying it just means a lot more to them. I'm sure the Olympics means more to Canada which is why you see Kelly Olynyk going crazy a lot of times, than it does the United States. Again, that's not me minimizing anything. That's just me being honest. So what I'm saying is, when you see Nikola Jokic getting fiery and yelling at his team and urging his team to win the game in an exhibition, that should show you how much it means to Serbia. When you see Giannis Antetokounmpo crying because he gets Greece out the qualifiers and into the Olympics, that should show you. So what I'm saying is, this is going to be, Joel Embiid is probably the second most important. And if he does not play well, Team USA has a shot to lose. I know it's crazy when you hear all the names, but Joel Embiid has to play well. Both, not really much offensively, but definitely defensively. He has to dominate the paint defensively, because if he doesn't, when you hear the names that are going to constantly give the rim pressure, it's going to be tough. But somebody that's sitting here, I think that Team USA has the best team. I think that their next best competition is probably Canada, because of just the sheer amount of people or NBA players that they have. And then you have the skyscrapers that is France with Victor Wembanyama and Rudy Gobert. But I just think Team USA, they can beat you in a myriad of ways. You're gonna say, well, they need to shoot the ball. They need good shooters. Well, you have Steph, you have KD, you have Anthony Edwards. Like, I think Team USA is gonna win, and I'm excited to see the Olympics. I mean, the first game, obviously, this opening ceremony was yesterday. I think the first Team USA men's game is Sunday morning at like 11:15 Eastern Standard Time. So I'm excited. And on the women's side, I think that's the reason why the women's side doesn't get as much coverage or as important. Let me not say as important. Why it doesn't get as much coverage as the men's side? Obviously, for obvious reasons, some people don't view women's sports as or on the same level as men's sports, which I obviously think is wrong, because there are some incredible women athletes out there, and I'm sure that people that criticize, let's say, the WNBA, they can't even they can't even beat the worst WNBA player. So, but another reason why I think that the women's side of Team USA isn't that much, or how do I say this, isn't publicized as much, is because of the stakes. You see, on the men's side, there's something that needs to be reclaimed. There's a feeling that dominance needs to be reclaimed. Respect needs to be reclaimed. When you look at now in the Olympics, Team USA has dominated. But when you look at FIBA and you look at, some of the friendlies, Team USA has, they didn't even medal last time in the FIBA. They were in the third place world game and they lost to Canada pretty handily, actually. So there's something that needs to be gained. There's something that needs to be reclaimed for Team USA men. On the women's side, they have just been dominant. I think that this would be their, I do think when they win their gold medal this year, this would be their 6th straight gold medal? Like, all that, Team USA needs to get back to glory, that's all on the men's side. Because the men's side, they've seen I guess you can say, tug of adversity when we talk about competition, and when we talk about their standing and their view, how the world views them. That is not the case for Team USA women's. When you look at the women's side, they have dominated from the jump. There has not been, I don't remember the last time Team USA, in fact, the last team that I remember handily beating Team USA is Team WNBA, and that's in the All-Star game. So, again, it goes back to, now, there's also a broader point to this in saying that women's sports is treated and viewed differently in different countries. There are freedoms that women are able to have in the United States that some countries don't allow their women. There is a level of, let's say, there's a level of importance that women's sports is put on some countries than others. And I do think that, while yes, there is still a discrepancy on how women is viewed in the United States, it's much worse in a lot of other countries. So that kind of lends itself to the Olympics and how the United States women, especially on the basketball tip, have been dominant. Which is another reason why you also see the Team USA women's, or USA women's national soccer team, they dominate, and that's because I just think that there is freedoms that they're allowed in the United States that they aren't allowed in some other countries. So when we talk about this basketball thing, I don't know. I know that, Australia used to have Lauren Jackson. I don't know if she still plays, but Australia used to have Lauren Jackson, and, there are other countries that have some incredible women playing basketball. I know China has this one young lady that's like 7'6". Like, there are players in other countries. I know Puerto Rico has players There are countries that have good NBA players. There's countries that have competition, but there is not. I don't think that there is a country on earth that outside of the United States that has an Asia Wilson walking around, that has a Breonna Stewart walking around, that has a Sabrina Nadescu, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Diana Taurasi. Oh, side note, P.S. Shout out Diana Taurasi. She did come out and say that this is officially her last Olympics. She's over 40, I think. So she's widely considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest, WNBA players of all time, women basketball players of all time. So shouts out to her. But yeah, no, there isn't really much talking point. It's not much of a thing to say. Everyone and their mama thinks that Team USA women's side is going to. They dominate. They always dominate. I don't remember last time they didn't dominate. There were some closer games, but a close game for Team USA women's is like 10, 11 points. You can argue that, and again, I'm not on that side, but you can argue that the world has caught up to the men's side. When we talk about Giannis and Luka and Nikola Jokic and Victor Wembanyama, you can argue that. There is no argument. You would look foolish if you said that the world caught up to the women's side. That's how dominant the women's team has been, and I think that's how dominant they will be. I don't see a team outside of Team US or Team NBA, WNBA, and shouts out to them for beating Team USA, but I don't see another team on this planet that is going to be able to stop Team USA women's. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the Olympics. I'm excited to see Kayla Ledecky dominate in the water. I'm excited to see Simone Biles dominate on the mat, the gymnastics mat. I'm excited, man. This is going to be. I'm excited for Sha'Carri Richardson and Noah Lyles dominate on track and field. Sydney McLaughlin dominate on track and field. I'm excited. This is going to be a very interesting Olympics, and I hope that Team USA dominates. So, speaking of dominate, let's move forward. I have talked about the state of the Cowboys. I talked about how you don't want to. It's very important that you don't back yourself into a corner as a franchise, as an organization, because the last thing you want to do as an organization, the last thing you want to do as anybody, a player, organization, owner, whatever, is to not have leverage when you get to the negotiation table, is to either play your hand or be backed in the corner where something has to happen that doesn't necessarily favor your best interest. So I've already talked ad nauseum about who the Dallas Cowboys should prioritize when we talk about Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Parsons. And to advance that conversation, I was listening to a bunch of people over the break or over my break these last few days talk about the Dallas Cowboys. And they talk about, who they should prioritize. Again, I think that you always want to prioritize the quarterback first, seeing as though there isn't a plethora of great quarterbacks out there. And honestly, even though he doesn't have the most successful playoff record, Dak Prescott is a very successful regular season. I kind of look at Dak Prescott like James Harden. Incredible regular season. Just when it gets to the postseason, it just doesn't click. But One thing that I wanted to talk about today about Team USA, I mean, not Team USA, about the Cowboys is, I think Colin Cowherd said it, and how he broke it down, I tend to agree. I think that we're starting to see the I think we're starting to see the end of an era where, how do I say this? I think that the Cowboys are in a slow decline. Now, yes, I hear the jokes now talking about, well, Jalen, they never win. This, that. Okay, I understand. But I just, it just feels like, one thing that they say, a team with a, you don't really, teams with very loud off seasons usually don't win. Again, outside now, you can also say that the Chiefs had a very loud offseason. I just think when you have an all-time great like Patrick Mahomes, that might not matter. And I think the Chiefs are in very good position to three-peat. But usually, when you have a loud offseason, whether we talk about contract negotiations, whether we talk about on the field, off the field issues, when your team has a team that had a really loud offseason last year, the Jets. Now, no one could have foresaw Aaron Rodgers being out for the season after 4 plays, but they had who else had a loud offseason and also had a loud offseason this year? The Bengals. I just don't think the Bengals are going to make some noise because, with contracts and everything, I just don't think so. Usually a loud offseason does not equal a championship, a Super Bowl. Well, the Cowboys have had one loud season. Now, understand you can say, well, it's the Cowboys, Jalen. The Cowboys is America's team. Cool. But this is a different type of loud, bro. You have CeeDee Lamb holding out for a contract. You have Micah Parsons. He's still there, but his contract's coming up. Man, you have Dak Prescott, who just came out and said, I would love to be here, but if you look at a lot of the quarterbacks that I look up to, they played on different teams. It's a business. This just feels like, man, that it's going to be, now outside of the regular issues that the Cowboys find themselves to have during these seasons, it just feels like it's going to be this might be the beginning of it. Because let's not get it twisted, bro. They're going to lose at least one of these people. They're going to lose because it doesn't seem like Dak, CD, or Micah is in line to take a pay cut. They're going to lose at least one of these people. And I understand that if you're going to lose somebody, the person that you might be easier to replace is CeeDee Lamb, but who are you going to replace him with? That's available. So it just feels like the beginning of a decline for the Cowboys. And as much as they don't really succeed in the postseason, or they haven't found success in the postseason, the Dallas Cowboys have one of the best teams in the NFC. I just don't think it'll be hard for me to pick them over, let's say, the Lions. Let's say pick them over the Eagles, who had a tremendous offseason. I don't know. It's going to be difficult, bro. And these contracts are really going to weigh heavy on the Cowboys. And that's kind of why I started this segment with, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where your back is against the wall. And the Dallas Cowboys had opportunity after opportunity to not get here. Like, you could have signed CeeDee Lamb a year before, or you could have signed him before Justin Jefferson got his contract. And while no, I don't think that he should get something as close to Justin Jefferson, because I think Justin Jefferson is a better player, I understand the importance, and I understand that CeeDee Lamb's importance to the Cowboys is probably on the same level as Justin Jefferson's importance to the Vikings are. So I understand why CeeDee Lamb in his camp thinks he deserves as much money as, Justin Jefferson. So you could have got a deal done before Justin Jefferson got his done. With Dak Prescott, you could have got a deal done before Trevor Lawrence got a deal done. I think that's what really killed any hopes of a discount when Trevor Lawrence got his deal done. It's just going to be tough to see. I don't foresee all three of these people staying. I just don't. And on top of that, let's say two of them stay. Now you're really hurting the team, and it doesn't. If you're a player, it shouldn't really matter. You should get as much as you can get, but it really hurts the team as far as building. How are you going to build a championship team? You're going to start losing pieces after this, so it's going to be tough, bro. But hey, we'll see. We will see. But man, the Cowboy. That's why contracts are so interesting, and so that's why it's very important to get the most out of a player in their rookie deal, which is why teams do that a lot. Because once you get to that second deal, that's where the big money comes in, and that's when it really hampers what you can do as a team when you talk about salary cap and everything. And the Dallas Cowboys are about to have 2 or 3 players making well over market, and that's going to drastically affect their defense and their offense. So, and it already kind of is. I mean, if you look at it, their best offseason acquisition was what? Getting Ezekiel Elliott back? So we'll see. But it is interesting. I will say that. Let's move forward. I kind of want to get off actual sports, and let me talk about something. Let me talk about something fun. When I was on break, obviously, NCAA College Football 25 came out. Now, I will admit that I'm not the biggest football sports fan in terms of games. Like, I don't play Madden on a regular basis. I was playing, NCAA 14. I was playing that when it was out, but I'm just not a big Madden guy. I love football. I love basketball. Obviously, basketball is my favorite sport, but I'm not a football fanatic. I'm not a football junkie the same way I am with basketball. I can break down defenses. I can break down stuff in basketball. I can't break down coverages in football. I don't know. I'm not that good with audibles. If you play me on Madden, I pass 99% of the time. I never kick a field goal. That's just me. I haven't bought a Madden game ever. I've played Madden, obviously, with my friends, but I don't think I've ever bought a Madden game. Now, yes, I did have NCAA football 14, and I played that, but I never bought a Madden game. So I'm not a fanatic when it comes to football and when it comes to football games. But I was just like everyone else waiting for college football 25 to come out. And it came out. And I can honestly say it is a fantastic experience. And everything that players and people that played NCAA football 14 have been waiting for, it's exciting and it's fun to play. But the reason why I want to talk about this is because, for the love of God, do you know how frustrating it is when you're playing online or when you're playing against somebody and you just know before the game starts? Look, it's obviously there's dynasty mode, there's road to great glory mode. I get it. I get the want to build a dynasty mode with a, I don't know, Appalachian State, with a Kennesaw State, with a South Louisiana State. I get it. That is fun. It's always fun to take a team and rise to the ranks. Like, and I get the fact of when you play Road to Glory and you start with an underdog. First of all, for the love of God, do not, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, do not start with an underdog if you think you're about to get some playing time. Like, bruh, you an underdog and you don't touch the field till your senior year when you transfer. But it's fun, you know. It's fun, that is why, you know, people look at Madden differently than, you know, college football 25. It's just a different feel. People go for it differently. Obviously, you have the ultimate team mode and you have, you know, team building mode in Madden, and those are the prime modes, you know. For college football 25 is dynasty mode and Road to Glory. But you also have online games. And bro, obviously this isn't something that needs to be fixed. The game is great, cool, and it's fun. But bro, oh my God, do you know how frustrating it is to boot up a game, to play somebody online, and you know you're about to be playing against Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Texas, Michigan, or Ohio State? Do you know how frustrating it is when you're like, all right, let's test your skill, and you're going up against Michigan, who has the greatest running offense of all time on that game, or Texas, who has the greatest running offense of all time, or Oregon, who's the greatest passing team ever on that game, or Alabama and Georgia, who not only are they the greatest running teams of all time, but their defense is the great. Bruh, you can't breathe. You know how many times I've been in a game, and when the game comes down to the, like, I try to pick like North Carolina or something, and I'm going against Georgia, and the end of the game is like 10-7 because the defense is so good. Bruh. And I understand that college is different from the NBA. I mean, college is different from the NFL. I get that. I get that there's more of an emphasis on running in college because, you know, there are some really good running backs in college. But for the love of God, you're telling me that running is... Look, man, the game is fun, but dog, I'm tired of playing a game going up against Texas, oh my God, or going up against Penn State. Oh, in a whiteout Penn State game at that point. How many times do I have to hear Mo Bamba, bruh? Oh, that is the hardest place to play on that, in that. Yo, the place, the venue, the stadium is harder to play than the goddamn team. Oh my God, bruh. If I got to hear Mo Bamba loud as hell on my TV too. In bruh, there's always Alabama. And Jalen Milroe is the next coming of Michael Vick on that game. Georgia, they're the most balanced team of all time. Oregon, they're the fastest team of all time. Texas, ain't never seen a hole they can't run through. Pause. Michigan, bro, what's that? Donovan, what's his name? Michigan dude right there, bruh. Oh my God. And if I got to play another game against Colorado, and I have to play the next coming of Lamar Jackson and Shakur, man. Look, the game's fun. This is just me talking about, I guess, the player base. Because, dog, I'm tired of going online and playing Alabama or Georgia or Oregon or Penn State for a whiteout game or Texas. Lord have mercy. Or Michigan. And I thought Michigan's supposed to have a down year. Michigan plays like the... I'm just tired of it. But it's fun. The game is fun. Lastly, before we go, I have the unpopular topic of the day. And while I was on break, the news broke about Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless will be officially leaving Fox Sports 1. He'll be officially leaving Undisputed, which a show he pretty much started with Shannon Sharp. And what this essentially means for Fox Sports, what this means for Skip Bayless. There's also reports coming out that's saying that ESPN, who obviously he was with, he helped start First Take. He helped the careers of Shannon Sharp, of Stephen A. Smith. ESPN's not really interested in a reunion with Skip Bayless. Now, whether you want to believe it or not, or whether you want to agree or not, a lot of the sports media, a lot of the landscape that is sports, a lot of the way that we talk about sports, a lot of sports podcasts like this one was influenced by the work of Skip Bayless. Not just Skip Bayless, but he was a major part of that. He was a major part of how we discuss sports and how the whole debate format came about. A lot of it is from him. So in that sense, I will always have a respect for Skip Bayless. Trust me, a lot of his viewpoints, a lot of the things that he talks about, I don't agree. I think that he's made a lot of money off hating off players like LeBron James. And in that sense, I don't think it was necessarily a positive thing, but I do think that a lot of sports media, sports podcasts, a lot of the debate style of sports talk, sports radio, a lot of it is off the backs and off the brain of Skip Bayless. And I'll forever be indebted in that. I mean, Skip Bayless, along with Stephen A. Smith and others, was one of the first people I saw when I was trying to make a decision on what I wanted to do in life. And seeing Skip Bayless with Stephen A. Smith and ESPN back in the day, that's kind of when I got the love for wanting to be in sports, wanting to be able to talk about sports. Obviously, I don't make no money doing this. There's a point in life where I would like to get to a point where my sports opinions will make me a living, but a lot of the reason why I'm here, a lot of the reason why a lot of sports figure sports talk people are here is because of Skip Bayless. So in that sense, I have all the respect in the world for Skip. And I hear a lot of people kind of talking down on his name or whatever. And everyone, you can feel how you feel. I'm not here to dispel anything that anyone says about anyone. This is me giving my honest opinion about this. But just like everything in life, right? Things grow. Things mature. Things expand. And sometimes you have to expand with it. A lot of times you have to grow with it, or you will be left behind. There was a point where Skip Bayless was the main character, was the main draw. There was a point where people would stop what they're doing in the sports world and listen and care about what Skip Bayless had to say. There was a point in that. But I think that we are far from that point. And now that we're in this age of social media, and we're in this age of people having their own platforms to grow themselves, I don't think Skip Bayless understood that he slowly but surely became the proverbial sidekick in these endeavors. Whether we talk about First Take, people cared more and care more about what Stephen A. Smith had to talk about than Skip Bayless at the time. Or when we talk about Undisputed, people tuned in a lot more to see and hear Shannon Sharpe and his personality than Skip Bayless's. And I think with the departure of Shannon Sharpe, Skip Bayless thought that his name alone would be able to keep this undisputed ship afloat, not understanding that most of your fan base here, it was here because of Shannon Sharpe, which is why you see them trying to recycle Richard Sherman and Keyshawn Johnson and Paul Pierce and Rachel Nichols. No offense to them, but they're not Shannon Sharpe. They're not Stephen A. Smith. And on top of that, age is a factor, bro. Like, it goes back to what I was talking about probably last time it's here. You don't really, when we're talking about John Cena, these figures are bigger than life, but you also got to realize they're still people and they still age. I think Skip is like 80-something. So, and on top of that, Skip was never really the type to be out there. Like Shannon, you can see him at games. You can see him at Lakers games. Obviously, he has Nightcap. He has Club Shay Shay. Stephen A. Smith, he's larger than life. He's on social media. His back and forth with Cowboys fans and the Cowboys organization. He has a Stephen A. Smith show. Skip Bayless never really opened himself up to the world like that, which isn't a problem. Now I know he has this Skip Bayless show, but I think that at this point this is too little, too late. He never. Which, again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm one of those people that's sort of inclusive as well, but I also understand the importance of showing your face and being accessible to people at times, and he was never really that. So when you get to the point where you have to depend on your fan base, you haven't really nurtured your fan base because they don't see you. So I'm hearing a lot of people saying that, FS1 fired Skip, or I don't know. What I do know is Skip's last show is coming up very soon, and I don't know what's going to be next for him. So, the times change, man, and either you adapt with it or you don't. And if you don't, oh well, we see what happens. So, and there you have it. That's been today's episode of the Unpopular Podcast. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you guys. If you want an Unpopular Podcast shirt, hoodie, sweater, long sleeve joggers, the link's in the description below. I have multiple different colors, multiple different designs. Get your Unpopular Podcast merch today. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm trying to get as many subscribers as possible. I appreciate everyone that has subscribed. I appreciate everyone that will subscribe. If you like the content, if you like what you're seeing, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. It definitely means a lot. Please subscribe. Also, I understand that there's some people that only watch me on YouTube, and there's some people that only listen to me on DSPs. If you are a DSP listener, whether that's SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, please follow, please subscribe. It means so much to me. No platform is more important to me than the other. No platform is bigger than the other. Wherever you get your Unpopular Podcasts, please follow me. Please subscribe there. Also, please follow the socials, whether that's Instagram, whether that's TikTok. I understand that, again, that's probably the place where you can get to me faster. I post reels there. I have stories. If you want to debate, probably the quickest way to go back and forth with me is social media, Instagram or TikTok. Post it there. Keep it respectful. And I don't mind going back and forth. It just means that you're passionate about whatever you're passionate about and you listen to me, which I appreciate. So, hey, Instagram, TikTok, please subscribe. It means a lot. Until next time, much love.